Hey, did you want to look at a toy? This is 2021 Retro Headmaster Skullcruncher, which is a redecoed release of 2016's Titans Return Skull Smasher toy to look more like the 1987 G1 Skullcruncher toy, and also apparently improve his wonky legs, but we'll get back to that. In his robot mode, I think Skullcruncher looks quite dapper, his green and purple contrasting nicely and only mildly hampered by him storing his alt mode in a way that can only really be described as very G1 Dinobot. His head sculpt is different to the original release, opting to go with a design closer to his cartoon appearance than the G1 toy, which seems to go against this release's theme of original toy accuracy, but I prefer this one to the original, so I'm not complaining. His head can, as is normal for Headmasters and abnormal for pretty much everyone else, pop off and unfold into a tiny chap named Grax. And I've got to be honest, I absolutely love every part of that. Headmasters are just such an inherently silly and weird toy gimmick, I love it. Also, it brings me no end of joy to watch Transformers media have to try and make sense of the whole Headmasters thing. Ooh, Daniel is RC's head now. Brilliant. Perfect. No notes. For accessories, he comes with a gun, and this, which is, well, it's obviously his alt mode's tail, but he can wield it as a something, possibly a melee weapon, an ornate sex toy, whatever it is. One purpose of it is that you can sit Grax in it with the gun, so it becomes a little turret for him, whilst being wielded by a headless body. I'm not sure why you'd want that, but it's an option. Oh, TF Wiki says that this part is a blaster. If they say so. Granted, you can just mount the tail on his back if you didn't think he already had enough kibble going on back there, but then you'll run into another problem. You see, due to his transformation, Skullcruncher's legs are pretty hollow and his feet are, well, they're nearly non-existent, so posing him can be more of a challenge than it should be. He's just always balancing on a knife edge, something made worse if you're strapping huge tails to his back. And when combined with his kinda weird shoulder joints and notoriously weak leg joints that, although seemingly improved from the original release, still needed some superglue on the balls to not be too wobbly, he just ends up being a bit awkward to get in a pose and stay there. If I'm honest, the longer I've spent with this robot mode, the less and less I like it. It's just always fighting against you, you know? However, those complaints all just vanish from my mind as soon as we get him in his alt mode. The transformation is pretty simple. You just pop the head off, move up the arms, curl up the legs, flip over his new head, and you're basically there. And how adorable is he? Just look at this cheeky little face and tell me you don't love this crocodilian critter. His tail/blaster accessory isn't so strange here as it's, just his tail and gun storage. And so you don't lose him, Grax goes into this little sculpted compartment in his back. The hatch is a little bit peculiar though, it's made of a much softer rubbery material than the surrounding parts of the figure. It's really bendy, feels weird. I do however really like that they kept his head window from the G1 toy even if Grax no longer sits in there. Cause yeah, Grax used to sit in the mouth on the original toy, but there's no room in there now. But yeah, the window breaks up what could have been a quite dull sea of green. Also, speaking of the mouth, inside he has a ribbed, slightly translucent tongue. Which is equal parts a nice touch and, oddly unsettling. Honestly, even if the articulation in this mode is a little basic, which admittedly is not that uncommon for a beast mode, the face is just so expressive that he could honestly just be an immovable brick and I'd be fine with it. Okay, I don't normally care about packaging or anything, but this one's a little interesting, so let's take a look before we wrap up. Since this is a Retro Headmasters release, the box is a lovely recreation of the 1987 version's box. Not exact, obviously, the toy inside is different, but close enough. It even has the original mural from that year's releases on the back, as well as his tech specs sheet and bio where it says that he's annoying to his friends, and I can relate. Although don't think I didn't notice you modified the old character art to match the new head, Hasbro. 'Cause I did, 'cause I've got Google and I don't value my own time. So Retro Headmaster Skullcruncher is an incredibly cute crocodile with what, to be fair, is a pretty ropey robot mode by today's standards. And how big of an issue that is for you is really going to depend on how much you prioritise one over the other. For me, the crocodile mode does just about make up for the other issues. I can't stay mad at that face.